Good afternoon. I have the pleasure of presenting the Augustus While III Award for Civic Engagement and Service. This award was established in 2009 to honor Dr. Augustus Gus While III, MD, PhD, Brown 57. It is presented to a member of Delta Upsilon or a fraternal partner who has made significant contributions at the local, national, or global level. This individual or organization has committed to giving back through community service efforts, civic engagement, or global service initiative. The recipient is inclusive with their work and committed to working with diverse populations. His or her efforts should be a major component of their life and have a sustainable impact on society. Like Brother White, this individual embodies the advancement of justice. To help me present this award, I would like to invite last year's recipient, Kay Shandell, to join me on stage. Okay? Dr. Mark Bergel joined Delta Upsilon as an undergraduate at Northwestern University, where he was surrounded by high-achieving people. Mark says that he learned more from the people with whom he lived than at any other time of his life. He went on to earn both master's and doctoral degrees from American University. In 2001, Dr. Bergel, who had spent 15 years working as a health professional and part-time faculty member at American University, became concerned. He started to deliver food to impoverished residents in Washington, D.C. He was startled by the depth of poverty, poor health, and general inequalities he witnessed in the region. As he went to home distributing food, he met families living without a secure food supply, without beds on which to sleep, and without access to basic health and wellness information. With these families in mind, Dr. Bergel began discussions with social workers, shelter managers, school personnel, and nonprofit leaders about creating an organization that would develop programs to address the whole person, programs that would not only tend to people's tangible needs, such as furniture and home goods, but also to their inner needs, such as stress management, financial planning, and healthy self-esteem. So, in October 2001, Mark founded an organization entitled A Wider Circle in Washington, D.C. He began delivering programs a few months later. By the end of last year, A Wider Circle had more than 10,000 volunteers and served more than 80,000 children and adults. Today, Dr. Bergel continues to serve as executive director of A Wider Circle in Washington, D.C. Mark continues to share his vision of ending poverty by connecting those with the ability to help with those in need. Mark knows, as we do, brothers, to those whom much is given, much is required. He is a nationally acclaimed speaker in the fields of poverty, health, and social connection. Dr. Mark Bergel has received the Greater D.C. Cares Essence of Leadership Award, the Community Foundation for National Capital Regions Leno's Leadership Award, and the Andrea Jolly President's Award from the Montgomery County Corporate Volunteer Council. In 2010, Dr. Bergel was chosen as one of People Magazine and Major League Baseball's All-Stars Among Us. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Mark Bergel, Northwestern 85, the winner of this year's Augustus While Service Award. Dr. Bergel.
Thank you, Tim. I'm humbled. I'm very humbled to receive this. When I got the letter in the mail, it's one of those letters that gives you pause. And I thought about what I was like when I was in college. I graduated from Northwestern. I was a DU at Northwestern, and two of my brothers are here. I hadn't seen these guys in about 25 years, so I'm just getting used to their faces. But Mike Salem and John Hanson, thank you guys for coming. Really means a lot. Really means a lot. I actually attended this conference 29 years ago in 1983, so it has special significance for me to receive this award here. And I thought back to what I was like in college. And I thought back to what we do from a philanthropy perspective. Rick, we certainly didn't have anything like the GSI, so it's beautiful to see this. And it makes me even more humbled to receive this award, talking about what you guys are doing. But we had a philanthropy chair, and his name was Ben Teitelbaum, and he tried to get us to do community service and volunteer work, and we were kind of begrudgingly doing it. And then I thought I did volunteer once. I coached an inner city basketball team, and I had 12 and 13-year-old kids who were in pretty deep poverty. And I thought, well, that was pretty good. Maybe that was kind of the instinct I had to serve. But, I think I did that more to see if I could coach a team to win. I think it was more about me than about these kids. And I knew that a couple of them would drop out of school within a year or two, like kids do in poverty, way before they should. And that made me sad, but it didn't make me do anything, because I was still more about me, and I was still more about what did I want and what did I need. And since I started doing this work at a wider circle, it's been really clear that the more selfless you are, the more fulfilled you'll be. That fulfillment and satisfaction in life ironically comes when you're completely selfless. And there's a lot of paradox in that as well. But if you want to be satisfied with your life, then be selfless. And I also was told, growing up, that college would be it. That was the best time of your life, college, right? And then when I was in college, I believed that because it was so fun. I thought, yeah, this is the best time of my life. When I get out of college, it's going to be a slow downhill. I worried about that. But it really hasn't been that way. It hasn't been that way at all. In fact, when I got out of college was the first time in earnest that I could think for myself, that I could face the world without a preset social schedule, without a preset class schedule. And I could just say, okay, what do I think about this world? And what do I think about my relation to it? And I found myself in my new home, which is Washington, D.C., and I was on Pennsylvania Avenue, that part of Pennsylvania Avenue where if you look to your left, there's the White House. And at the time, if you look to your right, there was a park. And that park, unlike today, you can't get near the front of the White House, right? But then you could. And there were a lot of people who lived in that park because they didn't have another home. And I thought about my classes at Northwestern and how they taught us about trickle-down economics. That was kind of the phrase of the day. And I thought, well, here to my left is a house that's one of the most beautiful houses we have in the country, and it symbolizes so much. And here to my right are so many people who don't even have a house. And I thought that trickle-down didn't go very far, And I thought, what am I going to do about that? And so I slowly started to observe the town in which I lived, and I saw that there were two distinct worlds. There's a world where we live, where we get to choose to go to those kinds of places, a world where we get to choose what clothes we're going to wear, a world where we choose what restaurant to which we want to go that night. And then there was the world where people don't go to a restaurant ever. They don't have any clothes other than what other people give them. They're completely dependent on others. There's no freedom in poverty. There's no dignity in poverty. In fact, I want to describe the homes. I won't take too much longer, but I'll describe the homes of the people I see every day. John, can you hand me that chair? I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me in the back? So this is about the only piece of furniture that the people we serve have. Every time I walk into their apartments, I'm shocked. You'd think I'd learn by now, but I don't. I still walk in hoping to see something that's uplifting, and instead I walk into homes and they have a chair, and then maybe in the corner they have a television, and that's all the belongings there are. And there are generations of people. There's 4- and 5-year-old girls, and there are 20-year-old women who are the mothers of those girls, and then there are 35-year-old women who are the mothers of the girls. And you can just see that one generation is going to replace the next, and they're all going to be in poverty. And not just poverty, but abject, deep poverty, where the average income is somewhere between $0 and $10,000 a year for a family of 4. Can you imagine that? Any of you guys want a job for $10,000 a year? That's the average salary for a family of 4 that comes to a wider circle. And so you realize they're born into this poverty, and they're raised in this poverty, and they're educated in poverty, and so they're prepared for nothing else but poverty. But I realize that there are so many more of us in this country who are not in poverty. right? So I look at this table, I see John and Mike, and I say, okay, what if we really were brothers, right? We were fraternity brothers, and what if we were really brothers and I was in poverty? Would you guys do something? Would you make sure that maybe I was prepared for a job or that I had clothes on my back or even food that weekend? You would, right? You would do that. So if you three would take care of this one, that's the model. That's all it takes. Because for every 4 or 5 of us who are not in poverty, there's only one who is. We far outnumber the people who are in poverty. And so all it takes is that commitment. That's all it takes is a priority. Poverty is not an economic problem. It's a problem of will and compassion and then passion. So those of you who are lucky enough to be here, whether it's you're here because you have leadership qualities or you have thoughtfulness or you just got lucky enough to get a ticket to come here, you've been given a lot, right? You have either the intelligence or the skills or the creativity, and that alone means nothing. What you do with it means everything. And so I hope you'll go back to your fraternities, and I hope that you'll insist that you guys get more involved in community service, more involved in philanthropy or volunteerism. And I hope when you do that, if you meet with some pushback, that you don't let that deter you, because true leadership requires deep and unconditional commitment to your values and to what in your heart you know is the right thing to do. And so I hope that you connect to what is deep in your heart, and I hope you commit to that. And if I can help in any way, I hope you call me or email me, because I'd love to connect, because I'm very impressed with you all. And for those of you who had anything to do with this award and making the decision, I'm deeply, deeply appreciative. Thank you, guys.